Hello everyone. I figured I would start this video off with informing you about my father's passing. Mark Ganley is no longer with us, and he passed away on August 24th, 2 days ago. The family and I are still grieving and letting the information just sink in. We don't have any details really at this time, but I just wanted to extend my gratitude to everybody who's reached out, everyone who has sent their love, their support. It's truly appreciated. Thank you. Even if I haven't responded, or it's truly, truly appreciated and received. So thank you. I also wanted to just kind of extend, my dad's love that he did have for everybody he's met in his life. He's met a lot of people from the East Coast, the West Coast, even when he was younger, living all over. he lived in a lot of different places. But yeah, I just know that he always cherishes the time, the memories that he spent with everyone. And you are loved, remembered, and appreciated. So this was not the video I was planning on putting out, especially as the first video on my YouTube channel, but here we are. And I just wanted to share my perspective on grief and loss and death with you. Only because I've, been going through it pretty rapidly. That's why I put together this mishmash of video clips together to just give you a glimpse into my perspective on things. And these clips were taken yesterday, today, a month ago, kind of just all over the place. But all I hope to gain is to remember how I've dealt with it, and to potentially maybe help one of you if you're going through grief now or anytime in the future. So maybe this will help. I've been through a lot of death in my life. I've lost a lot of people, and death has taught me a lot. And one thing that death has taught me is that it's something that you can't control. You can't control death. The only thing that you can control is your reaction and how you receive it and how you deal with it, ultimately. I feel like, of course, it depends whether it be a human or an animal, and how your relationship with that person or thing, entity, I don't know, animal, was, how deep it was, how connected you were, how long the relationship was, what influence they had on your life. All of that dictates how long I believe that you should grieve over it. And you should never subdue your grief. But there's there's a happy medium on feeling it to heal it, but also not allowing it to take over and consume your entire body, and to essentially put yourself into a victim mode of why me? Why did this happen to me? Because really, to say it lightly, the death did not happen to you. It is something that happened in life. And death is something that you will never be able to avoid. Death happens to all of us. It happens to some of us more often than others. And because I've been through it since I was so young, that is ultimately why I can't stand the smell of flowers, because I went to so many funerals when I was a kid. Yeah, it was all extended family. It wasn't a lot of immediate family. But death is something that you can't control. And in life, the only thing that you can control is yourself and your reaction to an action or to a circumstance in your life. So, going just a little bit deeper for an explanation into the explanation about the victim mentality is like, why did this happen to me, and letting it run your entire life. For an example, I lost my best friend. We were best friends for 20 years since I was 8 years old, and she died when I was 28. And she was the sister that I never had. I am an only child, and she was the first person to come into my life and accept me for who I am and make me truly feel part of her family and her unit and her life and whatever. Like, we went through so much together in our life. And when she died, sorry. I went down a rabbit hole for 3 years. Granted, after she died, a few months after her death, I lost a lot in 1 year. So it was like a crash course in dealing with death. But realistically, what had happened was I allowed her death. She was the sole one to run my life for 3 years. I stood in victim mode. I, self-soothed with alcohol, drugs, mainly cannabis. The drug conversation is for another day. But I just kept asking, why did this happen to me? Why did this happen to me? Not diminishing, what happened to her being taken from her own family, but it gave me an excuse to self-soothe, to be angry, to be mad, to say to the world, it was just an excuse. Because I wasn't dealing with it, because I wasn't letting it go. And I'll say it again, this third time. Death is something that we can't control. The only thing you can control is how you react and how you accept it. So February 2022, this year, was when I got the news that my cat was being put down. So I was on a FaceTime call saying goodbye to her in a back room of my dad's wedding. Yeah. My dad just got married 5 months ago. He did. Nancy, my stepmom, who I love and adore. And so a few months later, I then lost a relationship in my life that has been a constant for 8 years. Someone that I thought would potentially be in my life forever. And I came to the realization, understanding that that wasn't going to be a thing anymore. So that was grief. A month later, a little less than a month later, I got the news that my dog was going to be put down. And ironically enough, I was having a conversation with my dad, actually, about Porky's death and telling him my perspective on death to comfort him so that he wouldn't feel the anger and the sadness for longer than he had to. Because death hit him a little bit hard. And it seemed like it would hit him harder and harder every time he went through it, instead of it getting easier and easier each time it happened. So then 2 days ago, I got the news that my dad had died. That one hit me like a pile of bricks. I was in shock, and I couldn't say anything when I got the phone call. All I could do was stare straight ahead, and all I could say was okay. But then I allowed myself to feel all the feelings that came up, and man, was it a roller coaster. Talk about feeling like a crazy person. But if you don't feel those feelings, you're not going to heal. And it doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter if you feel 2 emotions at once. Laugh while you're crying while you're laughing. I mean, it's all part of the healing process, no matter how crazy you look. But all of our grief looks different. We all grieve in different ways. But I just wanted to share a little bit of how I've went through it and how I've gotten myself through it. It's just kind of shifting the mindset on it.
Be grateful for what you have instead of what you don't have or won't have. This whole world is really about appreciation and gratefulness and cherishing every moment that we have on this earth with whoever or whatever is currently in your life. Because nothing is permanent in this life. Nothing. So just learn to appreciate what you have when you have it. I feel like that's the secret to happiness, the secret to life. Not saying it's easy, but appreciate every moment you have with everybody and everything, especially with yourself. And all you can do is do the best you can. So if you need that reminder right now to go tell everyone that you love them, do it. Even if you haven't talked to them in a long time. Just tell them you're thinking of them. because they could be gone tomorrow. And I just want to end with, I love you, Dad. You will be loved and you will be missed. And your memories will be cherished. And only the good ones. So, thank you for listening and sending everyone all of my love forever and